arterial pressure includes systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. Why does it form? What factors affect it? Why does systolic pressure increase more obviously in elderly with hypertension? With these questions, we will learn arterial pressure. The lateral pressure of flowing blood on the wall of artery is called arterial pressure. In ventricular systole, the highest pressure in artery is called systolic pressure, about 100 to 120 mm mercury. In ventricular diastole, the lowest pressure is called diastolic pressure, about 60 to 80 mm mercury. The difference between them is pulse pressure, about 30 to 40 mm mercury. Because the diastole is longer than systole, the mean arterial pressure is closer to diastolic pressure. It's approximately equal to diastolic pressure plus 1/3 pulse pressure, about 70 to 80 mm mercury. If systolic pressure is higher than 140 mm mercury, or diastolic pressure is higher than 80 mm mercury, hypertension is diagnosed. There are individual age and gender difference in arterial pressure. With aging, blood pressure increased gradually, and systolic pressure increased more significantly than diastolic pressure. Before menopause, blood pressure of women is slightly lower than that of men of the same age. But after menopause, it is basically the same or even higher slightly. In addition, there is day rhythm in blood pressure, appearing double peak, double valley. The peak is at 6 to 10 a.m. and 4 to 8 p.m. The rhythm is more significantly in elderly or hypertension. Therefore, it is better to measure blood pressure at the peak time, which has a certain guiding significance. Why does arterial pressure include systolic pressure and diastolic pressure? How does it form? The formation of arterial pressure includes 1 precondition and 3 main factors. The precondition is enough blood flowing in circulating system. In animal experiment, if the cardiac ejection is stopped by electrical stimulation, the blood stops flowing. At this time, the pressure in vessels is average systemic filling pressure, about 7 mm of mercury. In human, it's also close to this value. The motive factor is ventricular ejection. Each ventricle contracts once can eject 70 ml blood into the artery, and the lateral pressure on the wall increases. The resistance factor is the small radius of arterioles. In systole, only 1/3 blood flows to the periphery, and 2/3 is retained in the artery. Arterial pressure increases continuously, and the maximum is systolic pressure. The third factor is the elasticity of large arteries. When the ventricle ejects blood, the elastic expansion of large artery can stall blood temporarily. In diastole, ventricle relax, large artery recurs and push blood to flow outward continuously. With blood flowing outside, the amount of blood in artery is less and less, and the arterial pressure decreases, reaching the lowest at the end of diastole, that is the diastolic pressure. So, the cardiac ejection is intermittent, and the blood flow in the artery is continuous. There are 5 factors affecting arterial pressure. The first is stroke volume. With the increase of stroke volume, blood volume in the artery increases no matter in systole or diastole. So, both systolic pressure and diastolic pressure increase. Which one increases more? Yes, you are right. It's systolic pressure. So, the pulse pressure increases. But why? Blood ejected into aorta increases. Systolic pressure increases. The elastic expansion of large artery increases, and the recur is strong, pushing blood to flow fast. Therefore, the increase of blood volume in artery at the end of diastole is not obviously. So, diastolic pressure increases not obviously. Therefore, stroke volume mainly affects systolic pressure. The second is heart rate. If heart beats faster, the cardiac cycle is shortened. Less blood flows away through arterioles, and more blood left in arteries. So the pressure increases. Which pressure increases more? Yes, diastolic pressure. So the pulse pressure decreases. Why does diastolic pressure increase more? In the cardiac cycle, diastole accounts for 5/8. So diastolic pressure is shortened more obviously with the shortening of cardiac cycle. At the end of diastole, the blood retained in artery increases more significantly. So diastolic pressure increases more. Therefore, heart rate affects diastolic pressure mainly. The third factor is peripheral resistance, which is determined by the radius of arterioles. If the radius is smaller, the peripheral resistance increased. The blood left in artery increased. So the pressure increased. Which pressure increased more? Yes, it's diastolic pressure, and the pulse pressure decreased. Why? Due to the large proportion of diastole, with the radius smaller, the blood retained in artery at the end of diastole increased more, so the diastolic pressure increased more. Arterioles affect diastolic pressure mainly. In clinic, some people only with high diastolic pressure is due to arterial sclerosis. The fourth factor is the elasticity of large artery. The elastic expansion can buffer the pressure. If it decreased, systolic pressure increased. Blood is accelerated flowing away, so the diastolic pressure decreased. Pulse pressure increased. Generally, this can't be seen in clinic. because there is no patient with sclerosis only in large artery. The elasticity of large artery decreased in elderly, usually with arterial sclerosis, which increased diastolic pressure more obviously. So, in elderly hypertension, systolic pressure increased more significantly than diastolic pressure. The fifth factor is the ratio of blood volume to vascular capacity, that is, the average systemic filling pressure. The decrease of blood volume or the enlargement of vascular capacity can decrease the average filling pressure and arterial pressure. Soaking in hot water for a long time will lead to dizziness, palpitation, and black in frontal eyes. The reason is the decrease of arterial pressure due to vascular dilation. Let's do a summary. Arterial pressure is affected by cardiac activity, includes systolic pressure and diastolic pressure. We should grasp the normal range of blood pressure firmly. Arterial pressure is affected by 5 factors. Systolic pressure increases more significantly than diastolic pressure with the increase of stroke volume. Heart rate mainly affects diastolic pressure. If heart beats faster, diastolic pressure increases more obviously. The elasticity of large artery mainly affects systolic pressure. Peripheral resistance mainly affects diastolic pressure. The decrease of blood volume or the enlargement of vascular capacity can decrease the average systemic filling pressure, thereby decrease the arterial pressure. That's all for this class. Thank you for listening. See you.